Well, hey everyone, it's been a roller coaster the past couple of days, especially in the banking industry. And I think that trend is probably going to continue at least today, most likely throughout this week. But for those of you that have been with FIBT for a number of years, you'll likely recall this phrase, and it's never the loss of a depositor's dollar. And in recent years, it's become less of a talking point, but I'd say today it's probably as relevant as ever, similar to back in 2008 and kind of the most recent recession that we've had, or Great Recession. And basically, where that saying never lost of a depositor's dollar, that stemmed back from the Great Depression, where our bank was the only bank in McKenzie County to have survived the bank holiday, and where they examined the strength of the bank. And that strength, to be honest, continues today, and it's now as relevant as ever. So, those of you that have seen the news, on Friday, Silicon Valley Bank, based in Santa Clara, California, was seized, and the FDIC took control. And this marked the second largest bank failure in history. They had assets of about 209 billion. And then on Sunday, Signature Bank, which was based in New York, was also closed, and this one was closed by the state chartering authority, and that made the third largest bank to fail, and they had assets of about 110 billion, and they're primarily a crypto bank. So the largest bank failure was back in 2008. That was Washington Mutual, WAMU, they were typically referred to as, and they're shut down and having about 307 billion, just to put it in perspective. But so those of you that are asking, what does this mean when a bank fails? And so a bank failure is the closing of a bank by the federal or state banking regulatory agency. Generally, a bank is closed when it's unable to meet its obligations to the depositors or other. That can mean either credit concerns or liquidity concerns, and I'll talk more about that. And then over the weekend, we saw a joint statement by the Department of the Treasury, Federal Reserve, as well as the FDIC. And today, and on Sunday, they were talking about how they made decisive action to protect the U.S. economy by strengthening public confidence in our banking system. And their step to ensure that the U.S. banking system continues to perform is vital to the roles of protecting deposits and providing access to credit to households and businesses in a manner that promotes strong and sustainable economic growth. And so what that means is for Silicon Valley Bank, SVB, all depositors will have access to their funds as of today, as of Monday, even above those that have FDIC coverage limits of 250,000, and same for Signature Bank. Basically, all depositors are going to be made whole, no matter what the dollar amount was. And so the Federal Reserve Board on Sunday, what they also did is enacted a new funding program, and basically they're making additional funding available to depository institutions to help ensure that banks have the ability to meet all the needs of their depositors, and that hopefully will bolster the capacity of the banking system and safeguard those deposits and any ongoing provisions of money and credit to the economy. A little unique about Silicon Valley Bank, they did have a unique business model. They were less dependent on kind of those traditional retail deposits, similar to like what a normal traditional bank would be. Instead, what they did is they focused on venture capital firms, and they're heavily engaged in the tech sector as well as cryptocurrency. And basically that left the bank a lot more exposed to the interest rate risk because they had a ton of funds, they put them into bonds, then they sold those bonds, took a huge loss, and that kind of started the trend as those assets were repricing with the increasing rate environment. So why am I talking about this is you might not think that affects, that Silicon Valley Bank affects FIBT, but there's actually more connections than you'd think. And so CodaPay actually has a number of clients and SVB accounts connected to our customers through CodaPay, as well as like how we do our online chat, Glia. They actually use Silicon Valley Bank, and over the weekend actually put out a statement saying that they're in a good position, especially for all the deposits being made available. And even closer to home, my brother and I have been involved in a group called Stand Together and Stand Together Ventures for about 6-7 years. And we've known a couple of guys named Sal and Brian who lead a venture capital firm called Trust Ventures. Well, on Thursday, as you can imagine, our phone started blowing up. And so Eric talked to Sal, and then we kind of circled the wagons. And we assisted in getting Trust Ventures funds out of Silicon Valley Bank and over to FIBT. And I do need to give a couple of shout outs to John Drady, Whitney McDaniel, Ashley Kittleson, basically our entire treasury management team, as well as Brady Bickett, our universal banker at Camelback, to open some accounts really quickly. So the funds were pulled out of Silicon Valley Bank, brought over to FIBT on Thursday. Because of the service that our team offered, Trust Ventures actually sent out an email to all their portfolio companies' investments and copied Whitney saying, hey, if you want to get your money out, work with FIBT. They're great. They know the family. and off to the races. So Thursday and Friday were rather exciting for our treasury management, our new account opening folks around FIBT. I think at the end of the day, we're starting to flirt with around $90 million of new deposits that have come to FIBT. We're expecting a few more to roll in as of today, which is Monday, and probably throughout this week. And so there are a number of connections out there. And frankly, FIBT, we turned this into an opportunity, and it really showcased how our TM group got involved and we're able to bring those funds over from a failed institution. And so again, really fun to see what FIBT can do, and we took this as an opportunity. But overall, FIBT is in a strong position. I think as far as a takeaway, just things to remember about everything that's happening within the media and social media and all those things, but just some takeaways. We'll remain calm and steady. We'll continue to bank like we've always done it, and just make sure to keep our customers calm. From a financial perspective, you can check out our performance in 2022. We have our annual report. We published this online as of Friday. You can see this on our homepage, and that can be a great resource that you can send out to your customers who, if they call and ask how we're doing. And then we'll also make sure we'll have printed copies out in the next couple of weeks. But I understand you're probably getting a few questions, and I first just want to thank you for those that are fielding those questions and providing more reassurances that their money is safe with FIBT. And there's also a number of talking points that ICBA, the Independent Community Bank Association that we belong to, they put out some talking points. We're going to throw those up on FirstNet. I know Wendy sent out an all-office email on Monday, but just as a couple of takeaways for the community banking space as an industry, community banks continue to remain well capitalized, well positioned to continue to serve our customers and communities. Community banks have always had a focus on safety and soundness as part of our traditional relationship-based business model. Another unique thing about community banks is customers often know, a president or the president CEO or members of the executive team in a community bank and can reach out with any questions or concerns, which makes community banking a little bit more unique. To be honest, my brother and I both fielded a couple calls this morning. And so, to that point, another thing is nobody's ever lost a dime of FDIC insured deposits up to $250,000. Plus, we also have other avenues that we can explore if needed for additional insurance coverages, and we're happy and ready to assist those clients who are interested. I'd most likely anticipate we'll continue to see new developments this week. We'll keep you posted as they arise. Continue to make sure to stay in touch with your clients, and we'll make sure to stay in touch with you as far as employees with current events. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to myself or Wendy will. So just want to touch base on kind of the latest banking trends that are happening this week. As a feel good though, to end the boost, I'm actually going to turn over to my sister Kira, and she's going to intro a video from my mom, Gretchen Stenjum. And we want to do a special shout out to my mom. She was nominated to be recognized as a Remarkable Woman Award finalist by KX News for incredible contributions to the community as well as the state of North Dakota. And they did a recent interview of my mom, and so we're going to add that to the end of the boost just so you can check that out. And as always, I'll end with a quote, and it goes like this, and this actually came from Stand Together and my brother Eric, and the quote goes like this: "The future has a way of arriving unannounced." And that's by George Will, who's an author. Have a great week, everyone. Thanks.
Hi, everybody. It is Kira Stenjum Knoll from my house, actually, because I have a little girl that needed me today, so she's feeling a little under the weather. But real quick, my mom was just nominated to be a finalist for the KX News Remarkable Women segment. This is major for her. She's always been someone that contributes the most to anything and everything that she does. And there's actually a quote by Margaret Thatcher that has always reminded me of my mom. And it says, "If you want something said, ask a man. If you want something done, ask a woman." This quote really makes me think of my mom and also my grandmother, my Grandma May, who is 98 years old, who was my mom's mom. I come from a long line of remarkable women, and this video makes me so proud to make. So please enjoy.